it on this computer. Recording on this. So yeah, we already do. We just did the Forbidden Zone part. Um, I think we ran about 30. I mean, if you all want to just go off forever, it's fine, but it doesn't, we're not necessarily looking at like the lengthiest one in theory. So
All right.
Are you gonna give us something to read and ask us who went to the zone?
I'm gonna do the questions at the end, but
Okay.
I was actually wondering if anyone wanted to dome the story a bit or not. I mean, I think people
No,
know
just
Twilight.
do get the opening monologue that she does.
Oh, okay. I'll bring that up before we start then. And yeah, good thinking there. Okay. Because Forbidden Zone, I just made
Are you ready,
Scott.
Billy?
Scott came on.
Yeah.
I made Scott describe the plot, which of course you know how that came out.
hmm
Let's try Twilight opening monologue.
You were thought how you're
Monologue.
gonna die or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ironically, it's going to be Twilight Zone opening monologue. But I want
Love it.
Twilight. Here, I have it. And
I'm wearing my
yeah.
Jacob shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it on the podcast, but I was surprised watching the movie. I was like, geez, I guess I would be Team Jacob then. Okay. I never
Oh,
expected that.
interesting.
I didn't
Yeah.
expect that.
Well, that's because you haven't spent time with him to see all the different ways that he's creepy.
Okay, that's probably
You've only
correct.
seen the ways Edward's creepy
Yeah,
so
yeah.
far.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
That's a good point. No, because when I was talking to Mark started talking about all the crazy stuff. I was like, no, I only watched the first Twilight movie. So all the weird pregnancies hooking up with the yeah, I don't have to worry about that. That wasn't part of the thing. Let's see how this works. Zoom is, of course, reworked itself. Have you taught any Zoom lessons recently?
Yeah, I have like one kid. I see 2 kids a week.
And they've changed the whiteboard to be like unusable on a tablet.
Oh, I don't use a tablet. I use my computer.
Okay. I mean, I'm using my iPad, right? See, I'm getting it right now because it won't reformat like in an intelligent way.
No, yeah, we're seeing.
Like this sucks. Okay. Yeah, it won't do that. Like, why can't I stretch the box out? That's insane. Maybe I can stretch what happens here. These controls don't make sense. Sorry, I'm sounding full boomer here, but
Yep.
No, it's all right. I don't even know what this is.
It was fine when it was small, man.
yeah, I guess okay. If you can
I
read
have
it
good
small, okay.
I was gonna say, like, you probably can read that.
Yeah. I perfected the eye test at the medical last week.
Ugh. Have perfect eyesight. I don't need glasses.
All she told me was you can't hear out of one ear, which I do already. And I mean, well, no, you can't hear bass or treble. I don't remember because I guess it's not that much of a problem for me. That's okay for you?
Well, now it's not because it says Matthew Commage's Zoom meeting over the top of it.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, it gets a little bit more in the middle.
How about that?
No, the size wasn't the problem. It's under the thing that says you need to move it slightly down to the right.
How's that?
Fine, perfect.
Okay, great. See, now it's not okay on my computer.
Doesn't matter. You don't need it.
No, I don't. I'm just like, you can understand why I'm teaching the G6 lessons, how that's kind of an issue because I'm trying to do the text, right? And I'm like screaming at the computer while teaching a class. Not really, but but I did just give up on it and try doing something else. Okay, let's do it. Yeah. Hello, welcome to Time Enough Podcast. It's where we dive into all the movies of Twilight Forbidden Zone. This is Matt here. Joining me is Luke. Hi, Luke.
Yo, what it is, what it is.
Joining me is Mercy. Hi, Mercy.
Hello.
Is this your second or third time on this one? I don't know. We do too many podcasts.
I think it's your second time on the Twilight Zone.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. So yeah, that's okay. It all blurs together eventually, which makes for good podcasting. Everybody knows each other now. This is the first half. It is Twilight. As a man who does a Twilight Zone podcast, Twilight's become like a bane for me when I'm doing Google searches.
I see.
Autofill always wants to send me to the Twilight saga and not the, crusty old TV show that we love.
I feel like Twilight used to be such a cool, evocative word, like the Twilight Zone, Twilight Princess. and now it just means Twilight.
So, obviously we're doing a little different format today, and I was thinking, how am I going to do this? So I got up this morning and I said, okay, I didn't think about doing trivia. Forbidden Zone's pretty good for trivia, but let me do Twilight first, and I
Okay.
gave up pretty quickly.
Okay.
There's a lot of it about people that everybody already know. People that
Mm,
was that grammatically correct? I don't know. Also,
Twilight
it
was
just
written by Stephanie Meyer because she had a dream about a vampire she fancied.
yeah.
It stars Robert Pattinson, who hated making these films and made it very clear in every interview.
Mm-hmm.
And Kristen Stewart, who everyone else hated, but it was entirely the director's fault because he wanted her to be as like the most whiny generic teenager possible.
Yeah.
She's a lesbian, right?
She's bi, I
She's
think.
like, okay.
Uh-huh.
And he's Batman, so it
Yeah.
worked out okay for all of them.
Right, it worked out okay for all of them. This is the first time I watched the movie. I guess I never had a girlfriend that made me go watch Twilight because I was already married. Though her girlfriend, was trying to get her into Twilight, but she failed. So then my wife didn't get me into Twilight. So I watched the movie for the first time last night.
Wow. Okay, how was that for you?
Okay, here's the first thing. Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart getting flack for this movie. They're fine. What's the problem? They're okay. I had no problem with their acting. But I felt it was just kind of flat, you know?
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Like I was
My
looking at the
sister was
clock
a
several times.
big fan of the books, but I was different. I was not like any other girls. So I was like, no, this book sucks. Like my critique of it when I was younger, it was like it's not well written. That was it. And and then eventually it turned into this is harmful for women to read. And then I'm like, when did I become such a like a pearl clutching person to be like, oh no, this is bad for women. They can do whatever they want, man. They get to read whatever. If they want to read a vampire being creepy, whatever. It's fantasy, so it doesn't matter. But now that I revisited with Luke, we revisited the movie together. I was like, look, I get it. I get what this is what it is, what this became what it is. It's a big fantasy. Like we I'm including myself, right? Because I also like consume a lot of media, of course, especially romantic stuff. Like we want to see ourselves in Bella and in Edward. So it's
Yep.
just in the end like a big circle of I don't want to say like wholesomeness. It's just horniness, and that's okay.
I kind of felt like maybe a little bit of like Hot Topic the movie. I guess there needed to be a little more rock and roll in
Yeah.
this to be Hot Topic the movie,
Mm,
but yeah, you'd have to put a little more like new metal in it. Does it have any new metal? It doesn't have any new metal. That's a big plus for
I don't know.
me.
Mm.
So I watched this because I had what you didn't have, Matt. I had a girlfriend who was super into it when I was like 19, 20.
Oh, I see.
So I read all of them, watched all of them. Um, I think it does a very good job of depicting just like a very teenage kind of romance. Where like neither of them even know each other. They're both in love with the idea of the other person they created in their head. And so it's a lot of staring at each other and biting lips and like not saying or doing anything. Which
Maybe that's where especially like guys would watch it and be uncomfortable feeling, it's a little too true, so it's cheesy and stupid. I don't want to
yeah.
accept this was part of my life.
That's the thing. It's part of the path of desire, right? The most of a lot of romance written by women. It's the main plot is desire. So you have slow burns
Mhm.
of 200 pages or 400 pages of two people who just barely touch hands, and just the path and like the expectation of the climax that is just kissing and being together. That's more than enough.
So Spider-Man Far From Home is kind of a remake of Twilight.
Well,
I haven't
you
seen that one.
joke, but
I'm thinking of my own class trip, aren't I?
I'm thinking the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans were very deliberately evocative of Twilight.
And I don't hate those. I actually
He has
quite
like the
like the
big hair.
first
He has
one.
the big hair like Robert
Edward.
Pattinson. There's a lot of like, I can't be with you because I'm Spider-Man, but I want to be with you, but I shouldn't be with you. Like all that moody shit. Like they were going for that.
Mm.
And that's why they had so much of like Gwen and Peter in all the marketing.
But then he's funny when he's in the suit. You don't get that in Twilight. That is an interesting thing. I was reading about production. One, I was reading about production. They were trying to do a more Hollywood version of this originally, apparently. Like, oh, Bella's now going to be a long distance runner. There's going to be some insane like jet ski chase that's absolutely not in the book. At some point, they went like 180 on that, decided to bring Stephanie Meyer like basically on set and regularly ask her what she thought. There was one change that she made. It was to people get tattoos of it. This was the reason. The horse, the hair, something. Sorry, I'm just dipping my toe into Twilight, but there's a line where they had changed it in the movie.
Oh, the lion fell in love with the lamb.
Yes, exactly. That's it. So she was like, actually, yes, you improved my prose. This is a better line, but a bunch of people got my prose as a tattoo, and they're not going to be happy if it's different in the movie.
Right.
Like,
Oh.
like if you watch Terminator and suddenly it's like, no future except the one you choose, Luke wouldn't be happy about that. So I do like that. I definitely think they were trying to make a movie that appealed to everybody here. And the only sin I would give it is I looked at the clock a lot when I was watching it,
Yeah, I remember back when I did have my ex-girlfriend who was super into it, my parents watched it, and like my then girlfriend was really upset because all they did was bitch about how shit it was. But it's like, because when you're like, what would they have been like? I guess it would have been about your age, Matt, happily married. And for them, just like some teenagers staring at each other in the woods did nothing for them.
Yeah.
It's like, why'd you like this film? It's 2 hours and nothing happens.
I mean, my emo hit we did on the other podcast a few months ago. I would have completely keyed into Eternal Sunshine at the time. As I said in the podcast, I watch it now. I still like it. I don't like it as much, but that one did speak to me exactly because, well, those were people slightly older than me, but basically playing slightly younger than they should be, right? So,
But yeah, my main issue with this film is just that it takes like the sexy vampire and then takes all the teeth, takes the teeth out of it.
They do not add fangs.
Like, he doesn't kill people. He goes sparkly in camp. Like, I never felt, they try and pretend she is, but you never actually feel like Bella's in any danger with him. At least not in a vampire way. And the fact that he acts very abusive and weird, yes.
Yeah, I'm coming at a weird. Oh yeah, I have in my notes here. Gaslighting attempt 1 doesn't take. Gaslighting attempt 2 also crap. Gaslighting third time's the charm. Just add in a bit of the truth.
Yeah, it's the same comment that I made. Look like, oh yeah, there you go. It starts the gaslighting. I mean, Edward is not a good guy. You know what I mean? He's not a good person vampire.
And he wouldn't tell you he is either. So we'll at least give him that much credit.
And he keeps saying, I'm a bad person. I'm a killer. I'm the devil. I'm the lion. I'm the hunter. I'm the, and she's like, I don't care. I love you. Which, it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy for a lot of women.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, if the fantasy is meant to be like a dangerous, sexy vampire, don't then also make him a vegetarian who never does anything dangerous.
I think he's quite dangerous. I disagree.
He doesn't kill anyone.
Oh.
He killed like one criminal in the 1920s.
I understand, like, okay, for me, here's the situation. He's a vegetarian, right? He doesn't kill people. He doesn't want to be hurtful, but he can. He can. And he's resisting that part of himself.
Right, but I just think it would have been a more interesting story if that was happening now.
Right.
If that wasn't a problem he solved 100 years ago.
But he didn't solve it. He's constantly like fighting against that part of himself ever since he met Bella, right?
Again, we only know that because he says so. We never see it. It's never part of the story or the plot.
Right, because it's not good writing anymore.
Yeah, okay.
It's not good writing.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Like, but I think that like him being like, I'm gonna be like this. But he meets Bella and he's like, oh shit. And then he's like, no. I gotta like control myself. and he has that power inside, and he cannot show it, will not show it. I think that's hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be hot.
We're working on the
Right,
appeal of the
sure.
movie there, aren't we? So,
Yeah.
something that we've noticed doing some of the Disney stuff is a lot of media. Like if it's high schoolers in the media, the target's actually junior high schoolers. If it's university in the media, it's actually high schoolers that are going to be into it. Like whatever it is, actually for university down, like the audience is the
one grade
age
lower.
down. Like they're like,
Definitely.
what am
My
I about to
sister
get
was
in?
really into it when we were in high school.
Yeah, that
All
too.
of
But
my
I'm
friends
thinking,
were into it.
and
I'm
I'm
not
thinking
saying like if the character
junior
in high
high
school,
schools.
junior high school are the ones who are most into it.
I
You're
see.
into the
Sorry.
grade above you, right?
Twilight was such a
Yes.
yeah, Twilight was such a big thing. I'm sure plenty of high schoolers were fully into it as well. But I wonder if it really,
Yeah, the tweens were the ones who were super into it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's true. And yeah, same way like maybe like Crayon Shin-chan appeals less to elementary kids than he does to like preschool kids.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Ampama's 10 years
shit,
older
you're
for staying
right.
Japanese on it.
Yeah.
Before I like that we are falling into the deep pits already, but I also was like very excited about having Luke read this opening prologue.
Oh yeah. We don't need the opening anymore. You could have just skipped it at this point, mate.
No, I want to hear you. So sorry, Mercy, I was gonna be like, oh, maybe you could, but I want to hear Luke do this.
Me too. I want to hear him do it. I want to hear his nice accent.
Can you see it okay? Speaking of these new weird white words.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Stop boomerang. I'd never given much thought to how I would die, but dying in the place of someone you love could be a good way to go. So I can't bring myself to regret the decision to leave home. I would miss Phoenix. I'd miss the heat. I would miss my loving, erratic, harebrained mother and her new husband. But they want to go on the road, so I'm going to spend some time with my dad. And this will be a good thing, I think. In the state of Washington, under a near constant cover of clouds and rain, there's a small town named the Twilight Zone. Population 3,120 people. This is where I'm moving.
Now, were you trying to do Rod Serling or Teenage Angst or both?
A bit of both.
Okay. Although I don't know if it's a typo there because I just randomly copied off the internet, but I heard like 1,300 people, which I might have just heard the numbers in the wrong way because I did not rewind. Okay.
Because I remember thinking that's very close to the size of my hometown, which was 5,000 people.
Ah, okay. And here I'll age myself at the beginning of the movie. I was like, oh crap, we're not going to Twin Peaks. The setup is very much like we're going to Twin Peaks, and then we don't. We go to Forks, which could be the Twilight Zone if you'd like. That's fine.
I really want to go to Forks. Oh,
Luke really wants to go sneeze.
He doesn't, but he has to.
That's a good warning.
I let on one of your crazy sneezes in the podcast people will hear on the second half of this because I record it first. How confusing is that? But I got this nice mutant button now, so I can like make all sorts of horrible noises now. It's great.
Amazing.
I don't have a mute button, and I know I would forget to turn it back on if I ever used it.
It blinks at you, so yeah.
Twilight, man. After, I mean, now I'm 30 something, and that part of me that was like a big hater of Stephanie Meyer and Twilight is way gone, like long gone. And I feel like I don't want to see regret, but definitely I'm like, man, I should have been a little bit more considerate with people, especially because it's just the book. It's whatever. I was a big hater, and now look at me. I am wearing Twilight merch of this quote that I really like, that it says, Bella, where the hell have you been, loca? I love it. I absolutely love it. I think Twilight is it's campy, it's weird, and it's just horny. It's what it is. It's just a girl being horny. Like, I was watching this video, and I do recommend everybody that's listening to this podcast to go watch it as well. It's a video titled Twilight by the user ContraPoints on YouTube, and she is incredibly well versed in philosophy and a lot of different issues. But oh, okay. And I think she makes a lot of interesting points. So she uses Twilight as a stepping stone to talk about female sexuality and like female fantasies, and also to talk about sexuality, religion, vampirism, like vampirics, like why sexuality is vampiric, things like that. I think it's very interesting.
Whereas if I was gonna recommend someone to listen to some Twilight content, there's a podcast I listen to called Summer Twilight Book Club, which was two like social care workers who read Twilight as teens, rereading it as adults. And most of their point was just like, this is textbook abuse. This is textbook abuse.
It is textbook. Yeah, it is. What were you gonna say, Matt?
Yeah, it's uncomfortable watching it that way a little bit now, isn't it? Or anytime.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing with it, because the thing with Twilight is it doesn't really matter if you think it's good or you think it's bad, because it's such a cultural touchstone now. It's like shorthand for saying, trying to get into a certain conversation. That's why those podcasts or videos can do that. I can watch that not having seen Twilight before and probably,
still find something interesting, because Twilight's just it's like a lot of YouTubers now will do like a video about some philosophy topic or whatever, but it'll be like, oh, what Star Wars says about da da da. And actually, you could cut Star Wars from the video entirely, and it would lose a couple of minutes.
That's how you clickbait
to get
it,
you
right?
talking about it. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I watched it. I was like, it's kind of flat. I didn't hate it, didn't like it. I was just like, here's a movie. I actually, in this case, I kind of agree with the 5.2 that it gets on the IMDb. But although I'm sure that number has been made by a bunch of haters.
A bunch of haters, and then also a bunch of people giving it 10s as well.
I feel like a more reasonable, like if I'm just thinking about, the fan base and people legitimately just not into it, which I'm part of, I would see it getting like a 7, 7 seems reasonable to me.
It's probably got like 20% of its reviews are 2 through 9.
Yeah.
And then 40% are 0 and 40% are 10.
Thanks, yeah.
Yeah. And I thought about, do we want to just like take from our other podcast to read a review for this? I was like, no.
Oh, God, no. Although
I don't want to do that.
I'm realizing that my problem with it's American. So like it's sexy, but there's no sex. It's horror, but there's no violence. Like if this was made in Europe, it would be full of tits and blood.
Oh yeah, if you made this like a giallo, right?
Yeah,
Italian. That again, we watched Phenomenon. Make that Twilight. Make it Phenomenon
Part of the
style.
no sex thing is because Stephanie Meyer herself.
Yeah, she's a mom. Yeah, exactly. She's an American.
Yeah, so she's
weird
like,
Christian shit.
I think she says that her book is really innocent. I am pretty sure that she said at once that her book is innocent. I would not say that's the truth.
I mean, spoilers, Matt. They get married before they have sex.
Yeah. I've been,
and they have sex once, and she gets pregnant.
Yeah,
right. So he can get his new vampire bride or something.
Then the pregnancy almost kills her, so he has to turn her into a vampire.
Yeah,
but then because it's a half human, half vampire baby, it ages at an accelerated rate.
That's the thing. Here's another thing. Watching a movie, I know all this. I've heard all this before.
Yeah.
Like I don't care that much about spoilers, right?
One of the weird things about it is Stephanie Meyer actually is quite good at creating a cool lore that I'm interested in. Like later on, there's like this council of vampires, and they're kind of evil, and there's like this big standoff and stuff. And it's like, man, where's the book about this?
I don't know. I'm a guy. I want to watch. I want to watch insane action. Sometimes does John Wick do that for other people, because they have all that kind of stuff built in,
Yeah, but I guess John Wick is a good thing because it has all of that around the edges. But I'm just watching it to see Keanu Reeves do kung fu and shoot people.
Right. So
this is a book that has all this lore around the edges, but you're actually just there to see these two teenagers get on for each other.
Like if I'm showing a Twilight fan John Wick, they're gonna be like, this is not doing it for me,
Yeah.
You should watch the second movie.
Of what, John Wick?
No, I mean, of course.
Oh, Twilight.
Twilight, sorry.
Sorry, my brain's on one track.
No, it's okay. I was thinking about it. Like, yeah, we should watch the second movie. Let's make another podcast about it.
We've accidentally started a Twilight podcast, Matt. There's no escape now.
Exactly. I'm sorry. This is how it begins.
Just happens. Okay. Well, I'll find a good excuse for that at some point. I don't. Well, this year it's obviously the April 1st air date, but that's the thing. I don't want to just like play a joke on people. I just want to do something weird, right? So
yeah.
And I credit him later, but yes, that was Mark's idea, and I was like, yes, that is the idea. yes, I'm sure Luke and Mercy want to talk about Twilight, you know?
Of course we do.
So there was never like a me thinking about it. It was like he suggested, I was like, yes, that's what we're doing. Which is the way it should be. Oh yeah, before we really got into the episode, I was like surprised that I was like, oh yeah, Team Jacob. Again, maybe that's why I have to watch the next movie. I was like, okay, this guy. But he gets into his own sort of abuse later, I guess. A different flavor.
They're all just written in a slightly. None of them treat each other correctly. But
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
he's not as problematic in the same way Edward is. He's
Hmm.
just problematic in
But,
all his
like,
own different ways.
they imply eventually. Can I say this? It's also
I'll
a
Yeah,
tell you,
spoiler.
Matt
I
cares about
don't care.
spoilers.
Okay.
Matt doesn't care.
Okay. So eventually they she gets more into like the world of werewolves, and they talk a lot about like how their partners sometimes are abused. Like they get hit by their when they get angry, because it's not them. It's the monster inside, or is the werewolf inside or something. And of course that is like such a dangerous narrative if you want to like bring it to reality, right? To actual human beings, not in the world of fantasy. But it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Well,
Hmm.
I saw it yesterday actually. The countryside house. Luke's been there, and my family. Next door, this couple is moving in, and they build a new house. And I guess there's a Japanese countryside tradition where all the neighbors come see the house before they move in. Like the house is finished, but they haven't moved in. There's no furniture or anything. They had two dogs though. At one point, the wife was petting one dog, and then they had been totally chill for 30 minutes. We had been there for like 30 minutes because they were like explaining their kitchen appliances to us and stuff. But yeah, she pets the one dog, goes down, then the other dog just attacks it like for 5 minutes as hard as it could. It was like jealous. I'm like, I guess maybe that's what happens in Werewolf Land too. I don't know.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah. So because Bella is completely torn, like eventually she's like, oh, who should it be, right? Is it Jacob? Is it gonna be Edward? Is it gonna be? And then the cock tent. I mean, ContraPoints, that woman that I told you about, like she talks about the cock tent because they go to the mountains or something, and then they get lost, and then it's super, super, super cold. So Bella, she's gonna freeze to death. Okay, so Edward, he doesn't have any body heat, right? But guess who does? Jacob. So he's like, I need to get in bed with her, Edward. I have to. And he's like, I guess I must. I must allow this to happen. So Bella, she would never agree to a threesome, but the situation, it has to be like that. It has to do. So he starts cuddling with her, and Edward is just looking in jealousy. And because he can read his thought, he's like, stop thinking about those things. Can you please at least stop thinking about that? And he's like, oh, stop it, you vampire. And Bella's like, oh my God, I'm dying. So, I don't know. I don't know, man.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying Bella deserves any sort of like abuse, of course, but so I'm not saying she deserves it, but I'm saying she's got her own issues.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like she's seen red flag after red flag after red flag. It's like, no, it's fine.
It's okay. I think a lot of the like the issues, especially with Bella, they would have been like not that intense if she had gone to therapy.
Yeah, the podcast I was talking about, like every single episode of them just saying like, Bella, go to therapy.
Yes, please just go to therapy. Yeah, she needs it. Yeah, for sure. Also, like her poor dad,
Yeah.
her poor father.
Yeah, if this whole film was from Charlie's point of view, it would just be a horror movie.
Yeah. Imagine you
This creepy family from out of town takes your daughter away. She keeps coming back with mysterious injuries.
yeah.
Could that be a better movie?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then
I mean,
eventually she gets married.
Yeah.
And then
That's
you never
right.
see her again. Like,
That's where I keep thinking about Twin Peaks because it's like a I don't know if you guys have seen Twin Peaks, but it's like this soap opera, small town soap opera things, and everything looks like a soap opera. They talk like a soap opera. They're having the problems like of a soap opera, but the real problems are under the surface.
yeah. I saw maybe 2 episodes, I think, and they were incredible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't
I think
seen the
it
new
is
ones.
interesting. The Twilight obviously gave birth to 50 Shades.
Yes.
And the way she changed it was she made the vampire a billionaire.
Hmm.
because that's what vampires are. It's the upper class,
Yes.
right? That are vampirically sucking the blood from us.
Mm.
So this idea of like they're like, no, but they're good vampires, you know. Yeah, sure, they live in a mansion and never help anybody and are super rich, but at least they're not literally killing us and eating our blood.
Yeah.
So, like,
But it's the same idea, like
again,
in
very American. We love our billionaires.
So
in
is this the most
Twilight.
American film?
Mhm.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, probably so. In Twilight, like Bella eventually changes him. It's like I can fix them kind of
Yeah.
mentality. So she eventually marries the vampire and like they live forever ever after and everybody's good. And in 50 Shades, she changes him too
Mm.
because he's also traumatized. He only like gets on with girls who look like his mother.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of issues in there. And then eventually she fixes him and they have a family and they live together.
Mhm.
So it's the same, I guess. It's the same fantasy, right? I
Yeah.
can fix him.
But
That's
also,
what it is.
if you want to go back to the vampires as the rich, the elites,
Mhm.
she marries him, goes off and has a life with him. All of her family and friends are left, you know, in poverty and forks.
Yeah,
Like, she doesn't solve the overall problem.
that's true.
And yeah, the series ends. There's like a big showdown with like the evil vampire cabal. They sort of amicably resolve, but nothing is solved. The vampires are still killing people every day. Like, it's a very American, like, well, we got our happy ending, so fuck off.
Like I
I
didn't.
might have to beat that. This is the Twilight Zone podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
I a long time decided I'll just put a disclaimer on this one.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
kind of did before we started. To be
I mean, we've been
honest. I was
talking
like,
about horny and
yeah,
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna.
sex
I was like,
and
I'm not gonna
tits
get
and
Luke on
nudity.
about Twilight Zone and not have him drop a few F-bombs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Have I done some already? I
didn't
didn't even notice.
Oh yeah, there's been
I
like
did it.
12.
Okay.
Again, I decided a long time ago. I'll just put a little disclaimer, and I'm not gonna bother editing because I mean it's Twilight. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did have that other thought. Oh, 50 Shades. Like no, Luke, you and I are gonna end up watching 50 Shades of Black, the parody movie. Maybe before,
Oh.
I don't know if you've seen the others, but that's might be my entry. But that's pretty, fanfics of Twilight, and Twilight is fanfic of Harry Potter, basically, right? And I don't
Was it?
see. I think it was originally, and I don't see that.
No,
Am I getting it wrong? It was a
No.
fanfic. Twilight was originally like a fanfic, wasn't it?
no.
No.
Twilight was based on a dream she had.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Then I'm pasting it onto 50 Shades.
Yeah, no, there's an infamous. You're probably thinking of My Immortal, which is an infamous fanfic of Harry Potter about a vampire
Okay.
from around that time.
About a
That
vampire.
might
No,
be it.
Harry
Yeah,
Potter
yeah.
becomes vampire
Oh yeah, Harry Potter. He's not even literally a vampire, right?
No,
he just
he
changes
changes
his
his
name
name
to vampire.
because he loves the taste of human blood. That's why. But
But
you're
yeah,
right.
it was around the same time, and it was all tied up in that sort of evanescence-y aesthetic. So I could understand as someone from the outside, you would think that was Twilight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm slightly disappointed. I was hoping for a wild explanation. Like, oh, you see, Edward, he's like Ron, and Ron is
Oh,
the
also-
Hogwarts. And
also,
then
one of the reasons you're
Bella
getting
is the
confused, Matt,
writer of the book.
Edward literally is the same actor as Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
That might actually, yes, that
So I
might
can
be.
see how all of these things in your head have made you think Twilight was Harry Potter fanfic.
Okay.
But no,
That's-
not quite.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
And also, I think there was just like a transition of a lot of Harry Potter girls then became Twilight girls.
Absolutely.
Those were the two books they've read.
Mhm.
Those with Harry Potter, like I saw the first movie, not thinking I'd like it. I actually thought I'd be a big Lord of the Rings fan, and it turned around. I was pretty into Harry Potter until 5 years ago, and when I haven't thought about it since.
We
Before
saw a
that-
good quote yesterday from one of the actresses. She was like, "I'm kind of worried about these adults. It was 25 years ago and it's for children. Why are they still thinking about it?"
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna throw the questions onto this. In this movie, who went into Twilight?
Charlie went to the Twilight Zone.
Absolutely. It has to be him.
You want the movie based on Charlie? Is what
I
we're
really,
getting at.
yeah. I think someone should make that as an indie horror film. Just change the names and just make a film about like a small town dad whose daughter gets taken away into a vampire cult.
Yeah. Are we sure that movie hasn't been made? Sounds like it would have.
Mhm.
So of course Pattinson goes into the Sparkle Zone for a minute, which that
Yeah.
was stupid, but I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
I like the sparkles.
I was
I
like,
don't-
I should
I
like
like
the
it
Sparkles,
as
but
a
I
thing.
do.
I think the whole dying in the sunlight thing is a dumb weakness of vampires. So
I wish they had another like weakness. I wish at least they would feel burn, like
Some
garlic.
something, because then
Like it
it then
hurt
it
them or
become
something.
too OP.
Yeah. They're basically just super people.
Exactly. So it's like give them something that kills them or something that hurts them, besides breaking their hearts.
I guess it's meant to be like the difficulty of like resisting the blood is their weakness, but
Yeah.
So that makes the sec. I don't want to go with Charlie for the second question, so I'm going to go with the really
I
horrible
guess
loaded question.
you could say Edward is of the Twilight Zone and Bella goes into the Twilight Zone.
Mm.
If you want
Okay.
an easier version of the question.
Okay, well that makes the second question like right on face more difficult. Does Bella deserve it?
If you're looking at it as literal abuse between
That's
two
my normal
humans,
question for a
no.
Mm.
But if you're looking at it as she knows exactly what's going on, she knows the supernatural elements and that it's dangerous. Everyone around her warns her not to, and she just says, "No, I want to. Yes, it's fine."
How much
Yeah, maybe.
slack does she get for being a dumb teenager though?
Yeah.
She seems to be book smart, you know.
Mm.
Matt, but yeah, she is a dumb teenager. Dumb teenagers deserve consequences for their actions.
Do
So
I deserve
I stand by
supernatural
it.
ones that involve vampiric blood?
I mean, she ends up immortal and super heroic and with a happy family. So I guess she deserves that.
I think
Okay,
she deserves it, yes.
okay. Well, anyway, I don't think. I mean, I don't think she deserved
The
gaslighting
worst she
attempts one,
gets out
two,
of
and
this is
three.
like a broken leg.
Mm.
But no, she doesn't deserve like Edward's treatment of her, no.
No, I guess,
Absolutely
yeah,
not.
that's unfortunately the base question, though. Like you said, there's a podcast based on that, you know?
Yeah.
And for looking at it from fantasy terms, it's the hero's journey, and this is her initiation, which feels lame because it's too close to what actual relationships are like.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem. It's a fantasy, but it's grounded in like this, like, well, it's not grounded in high school reality. I was like, these are the most unrealistic high school scenes I've seen in like any movie ever. But which include it's Saved by the Bell high school level, you know, like that's
Yeah.
that's what I felt like I was watching. As everyone, not well, as people may know, I have a weird Saved by the Bell obsession, so it didn't bug me. I liked that, but you don't really expect to see that in a major league blockbuster.
I
Okay,
don't
that
know
was a
how
range.
major league this blockbuster was when it
I
like
think it made some
it
bank, didn't
became
it?
no, it made back, but I don't know how much budget they put into this one. Because from the next one onwards, they look a lot better.
Yeah, this one like it looks so flat. Okay, budget's 37 million, which makes perfect sense for this being the first of a exploding phenomenon.
Yeah.
It made 400, so yeah, it did like mega gangbusters. It's like they made 400, give the next one 100 mil, you know?
Yeah.
I'll sit here and check. New Moon's the second one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, while we're on that, how about the tripometer for this one?
I put it pretty low. I think it takes a trippy concept and takes all the trip out of it, as I was saying
It would be
earlier.
creepier if it were told by Charlie's perspective,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Well, Luke,
So
oh,
Yeah, my theoretical Charlie movie it would be like a 4. But this one, look at the 1.
oh, you gave it a number. I was about to ask you, Luke, give me the sound, but you gave it a number. I think that's the first time.
It's not quiet. Sometimes I forget to
Yeah, okay.
refuse to give you a number.
I was going with 2, and I only 2 for the sparkly scene. That's my Twilight Zone money shot.
I'm gonna give it a spider monkey.
Yes, that's great. I like that. I checked out of the movie, by the way, once the rival vampire coven shows up. That's where I like just like kind of quit caring. It was like, when does this end?
Right. That is literally just the like, oh, I guess I need a climax to this story.
Yeah.
And they
Yes.
throw it in there.
And then the end is just like, wait a minute, the climax didn't matter, and you just set up the sequel and nothing, and you just wasted the last 30 minutes of the movie. I guess in a book that works fine. In a movie,
Yeah.
it's weird construction,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you know another book's on the way. So,
hmm
What do you think about the baseball scene with Muse as the background music?
oh, I don't honestly. I'm just gonna say I didn't track much because I didn't have any, nothing really
It's
bounced in
such
my
a
brain.
huge, as I've seen around online, it's like it's a huge meme. It's a joke.
Okay, it might just be like I haven't hit that one. Oh, also I'm gonna throw out one more thing, which might sound a little coarse, but I am I think I'm a person with this. This is the movie with the most resting bitch face I've ever seen, I think.
Oh yeah.
And I am someone that if I relax my face, I have resting bitch face. So I'm saying that as a person with that affliction. But I guess you put Anna Kendricks in any movie and you're like halfway there. You put Kristen Stewart in there as well, and we're off to the races.
And then you've got Robert
Pattinson's got it
he's
too.
not even
Yeah.
doing resting bitch face. He's actively looking furious all the time.
Yeah.
We were laughing at the scene where she shows up and he's like,
Like,
there's got to be a cut
ew.
of this where someone replaced the soundtrack with a bunch of something in the way.
Yeah.
That's
I
something
thought you
that
were
the
going to
new
say someone's done a cut where she walks into the room and does a really loud fart and then he reacts.
and then something in the way plays.
Someone has done that. Someone has done
Something in my ass.
Food.
I think I was telling Luke, imagine how different the whole movie would be if Edward was like 1.50 m like me, and he would look at Bella like this from up above, like, I feel really protective of you.
And when he's like intimidating those criminals in the Seattle, but he's just like
But
a
he's
little
tiny.
guy.
Yeah,
I want to see the Danny DeVito cut of this film, basically.
Yeah, although I will say, watching 2008 Twilight, maybe the sequels don't have this, because I'm about to say a 2-year. I feel like Pattinson, to be a leading man, maybe needed just 2 more years to ripen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess he almost looks like a high schooler, even though he's already clearly too old for that. But
Yeah, no, yeah, he's teen lead here. He's not quite leading man.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie says it. Isn't he a little too old for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I really do love Pattinson as a leading man, and this is the weird spot. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. He's teen leading man. That's probably why he's so complaining about it, because he's like, I'm almost there, and I'm doing this crap now, you know?
Yeah.
But
But
hey,
like sorry, go ahead.
no, I just, as we said, basically worked out for everyone. So
Yeah.
2 thumbs up for career
Pattinson's ended
trajectories.
up like the same as Daniel Radcliffe, where they can both just do whatever they want now.
Yeah.
Yes, which
Like, because I
both
remember
of
seeing
them.
the interviews with his agent was like, yeah, Robert pulled me up and he's like, I want to be Batman. And I was like, what? You don't do those kind of films. He's like, no, I want to be Batman.
So who do you think has used their career capital to better effect than Radcliffe or Pattinson?
I think Pattinson's used it to make some actual, like, he's probably had a better career as an actor. He's done some really good and interesting stuff. But I think Radcliffe's done a better job of just picking weird stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say
He's
had a
clearly
more
having
fun
a
one.
ball.
Weird stuff, yes, very literally.
I just saw on Twitter that he had like a conversation with LGBT people, like non-binary and trans people, and he's just having like an open conversation about how that is and like what it means to be an ally. And I thought, nice.
Pattinson or Radcliffe?
I'm sorry, Radcliffe.
Yeah, well, he's been very actively speaking out about, like, please ignore what J.K. Rowling says. If those books helped you, then
exactly.
whatever you want
I was
it to
gonna
be.
say,
Yeah,
like,
the
if
Harry
only J.K.
Potter-
Rowling could be a decent human being.
Yeah.
The Harry Potter actors have done a very good job of trying to be like, for the love of God, can we ignore this lady?
Yeah. Exactly.
Not inviting her to the anniversary interview thing.
They didn't?
They did like a big TV like everyone got back together and did a bunch of interviews and stuff, and she wasn't in it.
Oh my God, they're prosecuting her for saying the truth. Yeah, she can go fuck herself. Anyway.
Back to Twilight.
He deserves to get killed by a vampire.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Werewolf.
Anyway, Twilight.
Either or.
Send the werewolf. No, she'll be immortal if you send the vampire. Well, I
Well,
guess
they
you
kill
have to
her.
recommend it. Yeah, they kill her. Okay, good point.
Oh, but then they'd have to drink her blood. They probably don't want to.
Well, I was basically just going to say, did anyone have a final thought they wanted to throw out on Twilight then?
What do you have to say?
When I was like 20 and I'd read all of them, I thought it would make a good X-Men crossover. Because then you could explain why some of them get powers and some of them don't. It's because they have a dormant X gene.
Okay, yeah, sure, why not?
And also, I wanted to write an ending where like they team up with the X-Men and go and like get rid of all the bad vampires. I want to see Wolverine just fucking slicing up.
But not the Batman. This guy.
Yeah.
Okay, Mercy, any final thought you want to throw on it?
Yes, I just want to say that my experience as living in this world as a woman has been plagued with the sensation that everybody hates what I like. And that's how it's been every single, like when I get into something, when I used to get into something, it's like, oh, that's lame. If women like it, then it's lame. And that's how it's always been, right?
Mm.
And that's how it was with Twilight. That's how it was with 50 Shades. That's how it is with BTS. That's how it is with anything that is popular that women like. And I wish that I could have been more gracious, and I wish that I could have been more accepting, I guess, and welcoming to my fellow female friends or non-binary friends or whatever that like Twilight. And what I want to say also is like, stop reading everything literally, guys. Whoever is listening to this, and that's it. It's okay. Well, it's not okay that Edward is abusive, but it's fantasy. All right. So just enjoy what you like and be horny, and it's okay. All right. That's it. That's what I want to say.
Yeah,
But
for
then
me,
just read some other books too.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
There
For
are
me,
better
watching this-
books.
that's the thing. I was like, okay, I kind of feel like a weird, like, as a, I guess basically a media journalist at this point. I felt like I need to see Twilight. That's a pretty standard thing. I watched it, and like I said, I'm like half and half, right? But I'm like, if this is your flavor, I can see where you might really get into it. Especially like you said, the future movies have much bigger budgets. I was looking at the budget, wasn't I? Okay, 50 million for New Moon, so that's almost a double, right? So if you take the whole thing, which I did not do, you get better production later on. So
Yeah.
again, I can't judge it because I only watched this movie. So
That reminds me, can I say something else?
yeah,
No.
sure.
You're silencing women now. You hate women. You hate Mexicans. I went to see New Moon with my friends, and we were all high.
Huh?
That's a good way to see New Moon.
I
Last time I did
saw
that was
was
Iron Man
incredible.
2.
I saw music Glastonbury and I was high.
Incredible. And the very last, can I say, well, you don't care about spoilers. You don't care about spoilers.
No.
The very last scene of the second movie is Edward saying to Bella, "Marry me, Bella." And it became such a joke within my friends because we were mocking him. Also, we were high as hell. So it sounded like he was like, "Marry me, Bella," like that.
Mm.
And that's it.
Probably was.
That's,
He might have
that's
been.
what I wanted to say. Maybe watch it high, not in Japan, eventually.
Allegedly.
Yeah. On Minecraft.
Yeah.
In Minecraft.
Now, Luke, we actually plug each other in the second half of this podcast, but Marissa, you have anything you want to plug?
My Twitter.com, I guess. Can you spell my name?
Mercy Escribe, MERCYESCRIBE.
Thank you. It means mercy rights in Spanish. And that's it. That's all I've been doing lately. Hopefully I can do more stuff in the future.
Alrighty. So let's move
But are
on.
you gonna literally put this out as one long 2-part podcast?
Correct. You're about to hear
It'll be like 2 hours long, man.
you're gonna hear a bit of music, and then you're gonna hear Forbidden Zone. We're going to the Forbidden Zone right now.